If you never wanted to give a child attention or love, then why did you have me? Didn't you know that every child needs at least a little warmth, a little patience, a little kindness? Didn't you understand that silence can be its own kind of cruelty? I wasn't asking for much. I just wanted to be seen. For someone to stop and say, "I'm here." My parents were always busy, even when I cried. There were no fights in our house. No screaming, no shattered plates, no late-night arguments. Just silence. Icy, ringing silence. I could fall to the floor, scrape my knee, sit in a corner crying for an hour. And still, no one came. Being a living person and still invisible, it's like existing in a parallel reality where even breathing too loud feels like a mistake. You walk, eat, sleep. But somehow you're outside the frame. It's like being a walking ghost. Your body is warm, your heart beats, but around you, nothing. Just emptiness, indifference, silence. You're here, but you're behind glass. Everyone sees you, but no one taps. No one reaches in. And that silence, it isn't just the absence of words. It's the refusal to acknowledge that you exist. Sometimes I thought maybe they literally couldn't see me, like I was a ghost, or a failed experiment they quietly abandoned. I was 5 when I first started talking to myself, quietly in a whisper, so no one would hear. I'd sit under the kitchen table, hugging an old stuffed dog, and whisper, "I'm here. I'm a good girl. I'm not bad. I'm just sad." Back then, I believed if I said it enough times, someone might finally hear me. Anyone at all. My mom was always busy. She had things to do. Work, grocery lists, a show playing in her headphones, constant phone calls. She spoke fast, like every word was just another obstacle to get past. I learned to recognize the sound of her footsteps. It told me whether I should even try to approach her. Almost always, the answer was no. Dad was just a body in the room. He sat in his chair, watched TV, ate, stayed silent. Even when I brought him my drawings, he wouldn't look away from the screen. He'd mumble, good job," without looking. I hated that more than I ever could have hated yelling. There was one sound in the house that scared me more than anything. It wasn't loud. Actually, it was almost nothing. The sound of their bedroom door closing for the night. Because that meant, that's it. You're on your own again. Until morning. And then came the silence. Not normal silence, but the kind that rang in your ears. Silence where even breathing felt like a crime. Where every creak in the floor sounded like a gunshot. And no one was coming. No one would ask if I was scared. If I needed water. If I just needed a hug. At night, loneliness was louder than it was during the day. And the night felt endless. The longest night of my life. Every night, I'd curl up in bed and hold tight to my old stuffed dog. She had worn-out fur and one stitched-on eye. I called her Muffin, and the two of us would lie there like survivors. I imagined she was scared too, that she hated that sound, that silence, just like I did, like an icy blanket wrapped around you without asking. I whispered to her, "Morning is coming. We'll make it. No one can see us, but we're real." And sometimes I'd pretend she whispered back, "I'm with you. Don't be afraid. You're not alone." We hated the silence together. And in that imaginary conversation, I felt alive. I thought love was a privilege I hadn't earned. Like someone in the sky had checked a box. Not that cute. Not that convenient. Too sensitive. And that was it. Case closed. No one hurt me. They just didn't notice me. And somehow that felt worse. When I started school, I thought everything would change. That maybe the teachers would see something special in me. But I was quiet. I didn't know how to ask for attention. I sat in the back row and knew if I fainted, no one would notice right away. And no one at home would ask how my day went. I started listening in on the other kids' conversations. How their parents greeted them. How they said, "I'm proud of you. Let's celebrate that A. You're the smartest girl I know." I repeated those phrases to myself at night, like little spells I hoped could fix me. Sometimes I'd close my eyes and imagine everything was different. I pictured Mom walking into my room in the morning, smiling, brushing my hair back and saying, "I'm so glad you're mine." I imagined Dad calling me over in the evening to watch a movie, laughing with me, pulling me into a hug. I imagined them asking how my day was. Really asking. Listening. Not interrupting. Not brushing it off. Just listening. And in that dream, I felt lighter. Like a window opened in my chest and let fresh air in. I would fall asleep inside that illusion. And in those moments, I felt truly happy, even if it wasn't real. Even if it only lasted a little while. That was the only place I ever felt loved, and I held on to it like it was sacred. But one day, I tried. I was 12. I'd been crying in the bathroom quietly so no one would hear. And I finally came out and asked Mom, "Do you even love me?" She didn't even turn around. She just said, "What kind of question is that? Go do your homework." And something inside me died that day. From then on, I stopped asking. I stopped offering my drawings, stopped inviting them to school plays. I shut down, became functional, convenient, quiet enough not to disturb, small enough not to annoy, invisible enough not to be a burden. I got good grades, not for me, but so maybe, just maybe, they'd feel proud. But even when I stood in front of them with a diploma in my hands, I didn't see pride in their eyes. Just questions. How much will you be making now? Are you sure that's a practical career? No hugs, no smiles, just that familiar feeling, like I was late again. Like being loved was a train I had already missed. When I moved to another city, I didn't cry. I didn't feel like I was leaving home. Because home is where someone waits for you. And no one was waiting for me. I tried building relationships. But there was a hole inside me. A bottomless one. I didn't know how to ask for love. Didn't know how to believe that someone might hug me. Just because. I thought love was something you had to earn. To work for. To pay back like a debt. And every time a man started to pull away, I thought it was me. Again. Too clingy. Too quiet. Too weird. I apologized even for crying. Because in my world, tears didn't mean anything. No one heard them anyway. I kept talking to myself even in relationships. Because no one listened when I was hurting. Because no one believed me, or they said, "You're imagining things." Just like Mom. Just like back then. It took me years of therapy to understand. I wasn't broken. I was just alone. And that's not my fault. I started writing letters to that little girl, the one under the table. I wrote, "I see you. I hear you. You are not alone." I'd put those letters in a box. Sometimes I'd light a candle, and I'd imagine reading them out loud to her. And in my mind, she smiled. Now I have my own voice. And it doesn't shake. I've learned to say, "I'm hurting." I don't ask for permission to be myself anymore. My mom still calls and asks why I'm so cold, why I don't visit, why I keep my distance. And you know what? I don't feel guilty anymore. I survived a childhood where no one cared how I felt. And I grew up. I saved myself. Now I stay close to myself. I became the adult I needed back then. And when someone calls me strong now, I don't look away. Because I know, being strong isn't about being loud. It's surviving in a house where you could cry for hours and no one noticed. And still, growing up to be a human being. If you're a young parent or about to become one, please remember this. Don't leave your child alone with silence. Don't ignore what they're feeling just because you think they'll get over it. They'll figure it out. It's not a big deal. Everything matters, especially the little things. Talk to your child. Listen. Notice when they're sad, when they're quiet, when they act weird. A child isn't just a small adult. They're a living, breathing person. And love isn't something they absorb automatically. You have to give it to them. Because if you don't give them love now, they'll grow up not knowing how to give it to their own children. They won't know what love feels like, because they never felt it themselves. And that's how unhappy families are born. Not from cruelty, but from emptiness. From being unloved. From silence, the kind no one ever broke. We can stop that cycle. We can raise a generation that knows how to love, but only if every child hears this today. You matter. You are heard. You are loved. Giving love to a child isn't just parenting, it's a contribution to humanity. It's a responsibility to the future. We can stop this. We can raise a generation that knows how to love. But for that to happen, every child needs to hear this. Today, you matter. You are heard. You are loved. Because giving love to a child isn't just parenting. It's a gift to the future. It's a responsibility to humanity. Take care of your children, because they won't remember your words. They'll remember the silence. With love, Emily.